everyone! It's been a while, hasn't it? Yeah, since I've done a Mario game, it's been a while, since May 30th, 2019, I've been working on this video. So yeah, for over a year. Why the wait? IRL junk, summer break was completely filled, I had to do school, and so when quarantine happened, I was like, okay, well, might as well work on it now. And so, yeah. Let's just get this done and over with. I'm going to finally review Super Mario Bros. 3 for the Nintendo Entertainment System. Development of Mario 3 started around late 1986, where they had to go in a different direction from the first two Mario games. They had many different ideas, like being in an overhead view and Mario becoming a centaur, which would later become scrapped. The game was later released in October of 1988, just a few weeks before the Sega Mega Drive launched in Japan, and the same year Mario 2 came out to North America and PAL regions. During 1989, Nintendo of America was planning promotional material for Super Mario Bros. 3 internationally. They'd also been sprucing up a few problems in the game. It was mainly revealed to Americans in the 1989 film The Wizard, a movie about a boy who suffers from a mental illness after his sister's death but is insanely good at video games, where they go to a game convention at Universal Studios where, bada bing bada boom, Super Mario Bros. 3 was first unveiled.
Super Mario Brothers 3!
They had been planned to release the game in 1990 to huge demand. There was tons of merchandise, like Mario 3 clothes, toys, stickers, candy, notebooks. It was basically a disease that had no downsides. The game even had its own show, which I have a DVD copy with a few episodes of. Super Mario Bros. 3 became the third best-selling game for the NES after Duck Hunt and Super Mario Bros. 1, and would later be bundled with NES systems. But enough about the game's legacy, and now for the actual game. The game's story is that Bowser's minions, the Koopalings, start attacking different kingdoms all over the world and transform the kings into different creatures with their magical wands. Princess Toadstool sends out Mario and Luigi to stop the Koopalings' reign of terror over the world. Well, it's different but pretty similar to the first game's story. But hey, this is a game, so let's actually play it. The game's controls are, of course, different and feel so smooth. Many say that controls feel too floaty, but in my opinion, this helps make precise jumps, kind of like Sonic Adventure 1. I guess they sort of feel like a combination of the first two games' controls. Everything's back to normal now, so that means that there are no vegetables to throw at enemies. As you can tell, this game looks super colorful. This game also looks like a stage play with all the platforms and strings and the curtains. The characters also look better than before. Speaking of characters, or enemies, the originals are all back. Goombas, Koopas, Cheep Cheeps, Bullet Bills, Hammer Brothers, even some enemies from Mario 2 USA return, like Bomb-Bombs, and there are some new ones as well. There's Boos, Fire Snakes, Dry Bones, Joelectros, Big Bertha, Thwomps, Chain Chomps, the sun itself, and even more. There's some new stage obstacles as well, like these fire things and radioactive waffles. While we're on the topic of new things, power-ups! Of course we have the classic Super Mushroom, Fire Flower, Walnut Mushroom, and Invincibility Star, but now we have the Super Leaf, the Tanuki suit, the Frog suit, and the elusive Hammer Brothers suit. These new power-ups are awesome! The Super Leaf and Tanuki suit allow you to fly by charging up your P-meter, and seriously, why is it called that? Please, someone tell me. But also, the Frog suit can suck a shoe on land, but hey, it's a godsend underwater. And the Hammer Brothers suit can kill literally anything. You actually have a map and can go to different levels or other things like Toad Houses, Roadblocks, matchup minigames that can get you lives, roaming Hammer Brothers that can grant you power-ups when defeated, and the obscure weird stuff like the white Toad Houses and the treasure chips that I couldn't find. You can also use the rare Warp Whistle, which can play a tune straight out of Zelda. Funny enough, it summons a tornado which takes you to an island filled with different pipes to each world. I say that the warp whistle is rare because there are only 3 of them in the entire game. The worlds themselves have much more variety than the past couple of games. You start out in the grasslands, then the desert, the waterland, which partially resembles Japan, my personal favorite giant land, the sky, Iceland, Pipeland, and then you have the dark land, which is the final world. Unless you count the warp zones. They all vary in difficulty and don't exactly get progressively harder, like how Pipeland is much easier than Iceland and Darkland is much less annoying than Iceland. Not to mention that each world is longer than the last. Some of the levels are auto-scrolling levels, which can be a bit annoying, especially with the airship levels. There are new levels which take place in one of the Koopaling's airships, filled with cannons, boat bills, and a sort. The main levels have such brilliant level design and they aren't huge like Mario 2 USA, but are around the same size as levels in the first game and the Lost levels. Most are fantastic and fun, but some are boring, tedious, and or hard. They work so well with the controls of the game. I should also mention that there is a 2-player mode where you can take turns after each level. If you land on the same level as the other player, you'll play the original Mario Bros. Arcade game against them. Instead of a flagpole or bird face, you end the level by grabbing a card with a classic power-up on it. The biggest flaw with this game is its length. It has more levels than the first and second game combined, so the game's huge. But the thing is that the game doesn't have a save feature or even a password system. I understand that the save systems were in their infancy, but no password is inexcusable. But hey, at least you have unlimited continues. The bosses aren't anything to write home about. The Koopalings are basically the same thing, except with Wendy and Lemmy since they have rings and bouncy balls. There's also this weird mini-boss in each fortress level called Boom Boom. He just jumps and sometimes flies, but he's super easy to beat. After you beat Pipeland, you get a letter from Bowser that tells you that he stole Princess Toadstool once again. His castle is home to these weird statues of himself that shoot lasers and lava, but once you get past those, you finally reach Bowser, who not only tries to burn you, but butt smash you too! After Bowser butt pounds to his demise and you claim dominance, you open the door and walk in and the princess tells you that you saved the wrong princess. But it turns out Princess Toadstool was just telling a very familiar joke. And, yeah, that was Super Mario Bros. 3. Overall, nearly perfect in my opinion. Now it does suffer from schizophrenic difficulty in levels, and the controls can be arguably floaty at times, but it's an absolute 8-bit masterpiece. You need to play this game. It has fantastic music, impressive graphics for the hardware, the power-ups are fun to play around with in this game, and overall it's the biggest Mario game on the Nintendo Entertainment System. And that's also one other downfall, is that this game does not have a save feature, which was severely needed for this game for how large it is. And if you want to play it, well, it's on the Wii U Virtual Console, 3DS Virtual Console, Nintendo Switch Online, it's on the NES Classic Edition, but it was also remade for Super Mario All-Stars, which we'll get to that a bit later, and in my opinion the best version to play it is Super Mario Advance 4 on the Game Boy Advance. It's basically a part of the All-Stars version with a few tweaks and the Mario Brothers arcade game. And also, you have some extra levels that you can unlock with the e-reader. So, hey, that's pretty cool. But that concludes the Mario NES games. If you want to play them all, Mario 1, The Lost Levels, 2, and 3, well, get Super Mario All-Stars on the Super Nintendo, or it was also released on the Wii as well, physically. It was just a ROM dump port, nothing much. And there was also a version with Super Mario World included in console bundles. And some even say that Mario 3 is the best NES game and sometimes Mario game ever made. Of course, that's subjective, people have their own opinions, so that's not my opinion on either thing. But next time, we're going to move on from 8-bit to 16-bit because we're going to be looking at Super Mario World for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. Fuzzy Pickles.